90% of the time you will be doing by harmonic constant method. But sometimes what happens, they might give you a port which is a standard port, volume 1, and in between time and height you have to calculate. So if they have not mentioned by harmonic constant method, then you have to do by part 1, part 2 method, not by harmonic, because volume 1, part 1, standard port, never to be done by harmonic unless in the question paper it is written do it. Okay, volume 1, part 2, never to be done by harmonic unless given in the question paper solved by simplified harmonic method. So volume 1, part 1, part 2 do not touch harmonic unless mentioned in the question do by harmonic. Okay, then volume 2 and 3 you are supposed to do by harmonic only. Even your part 1 you are supposed to do by harmonic if you have got intermediate time, intermediate height, and F4, F6 values are given, which I'll be telling you now. What are those F4, F6 values you have to look for? So time being, you take it like this. If it is mentioned in the paper, do by harmonic, do it straight away. If it is not mentioned, then volume 1, part 2 ports. Do not touch harmonic because you will get less accurate answers. And 2 and 3, I will tell you how to decide. So this will appear confusing to you. So you remember like this. Each volume has got 3 parts, part 1, part 2, part 3. If that port is not in part 1, not in part 2, but it is in part 3, you have no choice. You have to do by harmonic only. There is no other method. So just remember all the 3 volumes. If that port is not in part 1, not in part 2, but it is there in part 3, you have to only do by harmonic. There is no alternative. Okay, then if a port is there in part 1, volume 1, do not touch harmonic unless mentioned in the question paper. Again, volume 1, part 2, do not touch harmonic unless mentioned in the question paper. Otherwise, you have to do by those range curves only. Intermediate time, intermediate height by range curves. And if it is not in part 1, part 2, it's there in part 3, you have to do by harmonic only. So volume 1 is clear. There is no doubt. Volume 2 and 3 I'll explain little later once you see the tables. Because in volume 3 what is happening, sometimes part 1 also by harmonic, part 2 also by harmonic, part 3 definitely if it is not in part 1 and 2 it has to be done by harmonic. So the problem lies in 2 and 3, volume 2, volume 3, when to do, when not to do. So that I'll explain. So on your screen, you start writing. I'll explain how to decide for 2 and 3. You start writing this tide height prediction, harmonic constant method. Port given is Bombay, but you might see a different name. You will see Apollo Bandar there. It doesn't matter. That 4359 is important because Apollo Bandar is part of Bombay only. Because in Bombay there are different areas, Pir Pao, then your Bandra. So each and every time and height of height is different, even though coming under Bombay. So 4359 refers to Bombay Apollo Bandar. Date you put down 9th January. This is given in the question paper, 9th January 1992, and calculate height of tide for 224 Indian Standard Time. If it is given in UTC or GMT, immediately convert it to Standard Time because you can only calculate for the Standard Time. Then later on, if you want, you can change to UTC. So if in the question paper they have given you for Bombay, calculate 224 your GMT, immediately add 5.5 hours and then call it IST and calculate for that. So convert GMT to standard time, then only start calculating. Only once they have given in the past, otherwise always they give you local time, standard time. Now first step you have to write is time in hours. That means decimals are okay. So 224 will become 2.4 hours. 230 will become 2.5 hours. 3 o'clock will become 3. So convert time into in hours only, no minutes. So 224 becomes 2.4 hours. Z0, you have to go to that part 3 or volume 2 because this port is in volume 2 and you'll get the value 2.51. So I'll show that page to you. This is your type table. This is your standard port given inside cover for volume 1. This is volume 2 standard ports cover page. This common curves for volume 2 and 3. This I'll explain table 6, 5, table 7 also. This is Bombay. Our picture is not changing.
No, sir. Now.
Okay, let me. Now changing.
Now change to Indian.
Okay, 1 minute. Just see this page, volume 2, part 3, page number 429. Put a marker there because now you'll have to keep putting markers, at least 3 markers you keep with you. So this is your mean level Z0. So it is given 2.51. So you can write mean level Z0 equal to 2.51. So I'll go back to that page. So can you see here time 2.4, Z0 2.51.
Can you explain this creativity Apollo bundle?
Apollo Bandar, yeah, that is Apollo Bandar. What happens? Bombay has got many areas for which tide is given. They give you for Bandra, they give you for Pir Pao, that is near Chembur. So Bombay is a general term used, but that number will identify which area. So 4359 is actually that Apollo Bandar area. So when they give you the name of the port and number, go for the number always. Number is a unique identifier. So have you written this hours 2.4? Then you've written Z0 equal to 2.51. Z0 we got from here, part 3, page number 429. 4359 Apollo Bandar. Now can you see above that 4358A Bandra? Then 4360 Trombay. So that all of it is Bombay only. Bandra is also Bombay, Trombay is also Bombay, but the number will identify which part of Bombay. So 2.51 we got from the first column, 2.51. Then you look for seasonal correction for port 4359. So seasonal correction should be given at the bottom. So you can see here 4359 will come between 4355, 4363. So get seasonal correction from here, bottom of the page. Sometimes it is to the left of the page or right page. So one page before or after also you check if you don't find it on that same one. So write for January 0.0 seasonal correction. Then you add Z0 and seasonal correction you add. What will you get? Mean level. So mean level is sum of Z0 and seasonal correction. So 2.51 plus 0.0 equal to 2.51. So anybody has any doubt here how we start solving by harmonic constant method by writing the port name, number, date, time. Time we convert to whole number of hours with decimal, and Z0 we get from part 3. Sometimes you have to use table 6 that we will do next example. And seasonal correction you'll get part 3 bottom of the page or one page before or one page after. So for that particular month you find out. And add Z0 seasonal correction, you'll get mean level. So no doubt so far. Now make this table. Just make the table. Data I'll tell you how to look up and write. So don't worry about the data. Just make these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 rows and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. First column you keep it little large and you can start writing capital A from table 7. small g from part 3, sum of a plus g is taken as 1, constant into capital T is taken as 2, theta will be equal to 1 minus 2, and put a remark at 360 and these columns you call them as constant M2, S2, K1, O1, and the value of constant will be 29 for M2, 30 for S2, 15 for K1, 13.9 for O1. So this constant means this value 29, 30, 15, 13.9. The column is named as M2, S2, K1, O1. So under M2, what is the constant? 29. Under S2, what is the constant? 30.
So where do we find the constant from, or is it this
I'll show
value?
you in the beginning of the tables. We have got that solved example of harmonic constant method. So See, in the beginning of tide table in these Roman letters might be 19 page or close to it, because this is a different year. So just look up for this particular page where you got this example given for calculation. Can you find this page in the beginning of the volume 2?
27.
The number may be different because the year is different. So this will be seen on the left side. On the right side, you will see data like this. And at the bottom, can you see this M2, S2, K1, O1, 29, 30, 15, 13.9?
Yes, sir.
So that right side bottom, you can get the value of constant. So constant for M2 is 29, S2 is 30. It'll remain the same. Whichever year it may be, it will remain the same. K1 is 15 and O1 is 13.9.
And for all volumes, it is the same, sir.
Same. Because that moon and sun are the same, no? For all the points on the earth, there is no problem. So we use the same constants. So 29, 30, 15, 13.9 are already given in your tide tables in the beginning. Beginning of volume 2, beginning of volume 3, where that solved example is given for harmonic method. The right side bottom of the page, you will see these values. Okay, have you made this table now? This first row, first column. Just remember, this is a very simplified method of calculation within reasonable accuracy. And if you want to follow the Admiralty method, then it is this one. This one. You have to fill up all this data, then fill up all this data and get your answer. So you can either go for this one. Normally it takes 40 minutes
So we cannot hear you.
Can you see in the beginning of this volume 2, we have got this table 7 given in Roman letters, page number is 31, Roman letter 31. So see which date for which month. For January, the data is given here, the February data is given here, and what is given for each and every day. They have given value for M2, S2, K1, O1, capital A, capital F. So first you write capital A. So how much we had? Capital A under M2 is 0.89. Capital A under M2 is 0.89. So you can see that 0.89 is here. This is how we write 0.89. Similarly,
Sir, page number, sir?
page number is 31, I think, Roman letter in the beginning. See this number 31.
The PDF page number is 83.
PDF page, acha, you have got that PDF file, that tight tables, okay. But in the bottom of the page, you will see some numbers, no? Roman,
Yes, sir. That is 31. 31 of part 2.
31 of part 2. So
Volume 2,
just
sorry.
31 of volume 2, which is beginning. So write down this 89 for capital A under M2 for 9th of January. Similarly, 9th of January under S2, what is capital A? 015. So then you write 015. Then you write 347. Then 117. 347, 117. So you can see here 347, 117. Just fill up those data first. For capital A under M2, S2, K1, O1. Okay, so all I've got this 89, 15, 347, 117 as capital A from table 7 under M2, under S2, K1, O1. So take a 5 minutes break, then we'll continue. Meantime, if someone has got doubt, you can ask. Okay, you all come back.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we'll go for the next value. That is small g. Small g from part 3 under M2, S2, K1, O1. We have to get the values. So go back to that marker for part 3. So this is page 429. This is part 3. How do you know it is part 3? You've got harmonic constant return M2, S2, K1, O1, shallow water corrections. So definitely it is part 3. So can you see that small g? This is capital H. That M means meters and this means degrees. So actually it is small g and capital H. So what is the value of small g? 3, 4, 5 under M2 and 0 to 5 under S2. 3, 4, 5, 0 to 5. So write down 3, 4, 5, 0 to 5.
Sir, G not understand, sir. Can you repeat, sir?
Okay, see. First we had to find capital A, but capital A you had to go to table 7, that beginning of the volume. Small g you have to get from part 3. What is part 3 of that volume 2? This page where you have got M2, S2, K1, O1 and under M2 you have got small g, capital H. Under S2 small g, capital H. Under K1 small g, capital H. Like this for O also. So we have got value of G and capital H under M2, S2, K1, O1 given in your part 3. So go to that port number, go to that same name, come across and stop here under G. M2 column G value 345. So start writing here M2 column G value 345. So this much is clear how to get 345.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, get under S2 column K1 or column and O1. So you will be able to see Apollo Bandar under S2 column G is 025. Under K1 is 055. So just start writing the value of G under M2, S2, K1, O1 by entering part 3. So once you have written the value of small g, now add them. Capital A plus small g. So capital A plus small g. How much you get? 434, 040, 402, 169. Just add them. Add A plus G and write down the sum here, which is also known as 1 in bracket. That means this is the first, this is the second. Now that 1 minus 2 has to be written here. So once you got the sum, we will go to next row in which constant into T. What is the constant? 29. What is T? Remember T, we have made it 2.4. Time in hours, no minutes. So 230 becomes 2.5. So it is 2.4 because 224. So 2.4 is the value of capital T. Multiply 2.4 by 29. See how much you get. Similarly, multiply 2.4 by 30. And then 15 into 2.4. 15 is the constant. These are the constant. T is 2.4. So 15 into 2.4 right here. 13.9 into 2.4 right here, because this is all constant into T. Now next step is calculating the value of theta. So subtract this 1, that means 434, and 2, 69.6. So 434 minus 69.6. You will get some answer here. If you are getting some negative value, add 360. If you are getting some answer more than 360, then remove 360. Just remember the basic rule. Theta must come between 0 and 360. So if you are getting anything minus, you add 360, make it plus. If you are getting more than 360, remove 360 from that value, and your answer should come between 0 and 360. So 1 minus 2, then 40 minus 72 will be negative. So add 360 to it. 402 minus 36 will be more than 360. So remove 360 from it. Idea is you should get theta between 0 and 360. Remove all minus sign by adding 360 and remove all excess of 360. That means if it is coming more than 360, remove 360 from it. Anyone has any doubt, you let me know now, because this is still the simple part. Okay, then can we move ahead if it is okay with you? Now you have to write down the value of capital F and capital H from table 7 and part 3. So capital F for M2, S2, K1, O1. So where do you have to go? Table 7. So can you see capital F under table 7 M2 for 9th January is 0.86 and capital F for S2 is 0.91. So start writing those values 0.86, 0.91, 1.26, 0.88. Capital F value under M2, S2, K1, O1 for 9th of January. So 0.86, 0.91, 1.26, 0.88. Next is find out the value of capital H from part 3. So can you see here capital H in part 3 under M2 is 1.23, this one. Capital H in part 3 for M2 column. So capital H you start writing as 1.23, 0.48, 0.42 and 0.20. So you can see here 1.23, 0.48, 0.42, 0.20. This is what you should get for capital H under part 3. Now value of small f4, capital F4, small f6, capital F6. You will get from part 3 only. So can you see here small f4, capital F4, small f6, capital F6. So f4 is 0.14, other one is 0.020 and f6 and capital F6 are 0, no data, so 0. Circle with a dot, take it as 0. So once you have written down this data 014, 0.02, 00, then come to the next row. R sin R equal to HF sin theta bracket M2 plus HF sin theta bracket S2. This means R sin R is equal to, put all the value of H, F, theta from M2 column, the first one. The H is here. H is 1.23. F is 0.86 under M2. And theta is 4.4. So under M2 column, H, F, and theta to be put down. Wherever it is written as M2 in bracket, that means the HF theta must come from M2 column. So it's just a remark attached that this particular HF sin theta will have H value for M2, F value for M2, theta value for M2. Then add H value for S2, F value for S2, theta value for S2. So R sin R equal to how much? H 1.23 into 0.86 into sine of 4.4. See how much you are getting. There might be slight variation.
1.
What is it?
The first one.
0.0812.
Okay, take that, no problem. You take that value, whatever you are getting, you take it. Because what happens, these differences will always come in the third and fourth decimal place due to the rounding off and the fractions which we are going to take. So calculators, some people like to take all the fractions given there, 10 decimal place. Some people round up to 2 decimals, some round up to 4. So that is okay. That slight variation you will find in the third and fourth decimal place. So take it as 0.081112, whatever you're getting, you write down. Then how much you're getting HF sin theta under S2 column?
Minus 0.2315.
Okay, so write down that minus decimal 2315, and here whatever you got 811 or 12, you write down. So now you have got the value of R sin R as negative. Some negative value you'll be getting. Once you've got this, then calculate R cos R. That means H, F, theta, all from M2 column, whatever you used here. H, F, theta again from S2 column. So instead of sine, you've got cos here. So see, you should be getting close to this. But remember, HF theta must come from this column, S2 column. So H will be 0.48, F will be 0.91, and theta will be 328. So are you getting close to 1.4251?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
now the next calculation is find out the value of capital R and small r. How can we do? Divide them. R sin R by R cos R, capital R will go, tan of small r will be equal to some value. So R is tan inverse. So just divide R sin R by R cos R, you will get tan of small r. So tan of small r equal to minus 0.1507 divided by 1.4251. That is value of tan of small r. So what is r equal to? Inverse tan. So see, are you getting that small r equal to 354? So divide r sin r by r cos r, you'll get tan of small r equal to minus 0.1507 divided by 1.4251. So you take inverse tan and you'll get this value of small r. So see how much you are getting, small r.
So smaller is coming about minus 6.02.
Okay.
So we convert it to 360 minus.
Correct. Just add 360 to it and it become positive value.
Understood.
Later on, I'll tell you the rules also. Next session, I'll tell you how we have to get the actual value of small r. Now, if you put this value of small r in any equation, you can put it either here or you can put it here. So you'll get the value of capital R. So put the value of small r, what you got, 354, whatever you got. Put the value here, r into sine 354 equal to minus so and so. So r equal to how much?
R is coming 1.43.
It's okay. Whatever you are getting, you write down. It doesn't matter. This decimal always depends on whether you have used all the decimals or 2 decimals or 4 decimals. So variation will be there. It does not matter. Your final answer will be well within limits. So write down whatever you are getting, you write down. So next session, we'll be doing this and completing that calculation. So that will be your first harmonic constant calculation. It's not much. Just see, we already come to the end. Just this much we have to calculate and we will get the answer 4.36. That we'll see next session. So don't worry, it is simple, straightforward calculation. But practice. You need to practice at least 3-4 times and you're okay. I think it doesn't look too bad. This one, this, and this. Finally finished. You're already here. And final is just the answer now. Sum of the 6. That means add up all of this. So next time we will do it. Meantime, if you have any doubt, you let me know. Okay then, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.